everybody. My name is Dr. Bliss. I'm the Director of Percussion Studies here at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, and we're so glad you joined us for the UT Percussion Podcast, Senior Clinic Edition. We are going to be filming some small podcasts over the next couple of weeks here in November of 2012, as a lot of you students are getting ready to take the WTS, MTS, and ETSBOA senior clinic auditions, and we thought we'd pitch in and see if we could help out. So these podcasts will be performed by several of my students along with myself, and we'll be working together to try to give you some helpful hints and tips as you prepare for your auditions upcoming in the next several weeks and months. So please note that we don't think that our interpretation of these pieces is the only way to do these. So if you have gotten instruction otherwise, certainly listen to your teachers and all of those good things, but we do want to give you some feedback, especially for those of you students who are in more remote locations throughout the state of Tennessee and possibly don't have a private instructor available. We thought, why not use the internet to share some of the things that we do here at UT. So we hope you enjoy these. We'll be doing MTS BOA excerpts this week and then releasing the others very shortly after. You're always welcome to email me here at the university. My name, again, is Andy Bliss. My email is abliss@utk.edu, and you can find the UT Percussion Studio on Facebook if you search UT Percussion, and our Twitter handle is @UT Percussion. So best of luck to you in your audition, and we hope you take something enjoyable from this series of podcasts. Have a great day. Welcome back to the UT Percussion Podcast, everybody. This is for ETSBOA's mallet selection for the Senior Clinic for 2012. I'm here with Kevin Hanrahan from Chicago, Illinois, and we're just going to talk through this mallet excerpt a little bit, see if we can help anybody out there who's working on preparing it. So thanks for being with us, Kevin.
Sure.
What were some of the things that you thought about at first when you first were reading through this passage?
Well, the way that it's written, since there's not any dynamics written on the page, really making the music of the melodic instrument come across by the long phrases. There's two bars tied together in the first line, and really trying to finish each of those phrases to come out. So
yeah, so important not to take it too fast, right? It's not, this Etude definitely seems like it needs to breathe a little bit. Mm-hmm. So definitely watch your tempo at the beginning, and do note that there are those phrase markings, and so there's probably going to need to be just a small space from beats 3 into 1. That doesn't necessarily mean that you slow the tempo down, but just, that would be a natural place for a wind player to breathe or something, and so we want to play the phrase in a manner that reflects that. Mm-hmm. Good. What other stuff came up when you were preparing it?
Just from a technical aspect, there's a few rolls that I kind of pace the roll a little bit slower so I can release on, say, the left hand or the right hand. The first one I did that on is the last measure in the first line. I kind of slowed that roll down a little bit to end on the left hand, just because the way I play with my left hand on top. That's just kind of how I play. And it was just kind of more convenient to not rush through the roll and make sure that I released in a good playing position on the bar on the F sharp.
Can you demonstrate what it would sound like if you sped up the roll going into that release real quick? Yeah, and you'll notice that's not really characteristic of what the music is particularly trying to sound like. It's a slower, kind of somber etude, and so as a general rule, it's always a good idea to slow down your roll speed. A lot of times we'll start on the right and want to end our roll on the right hand, and so we try to kind of add a stroke, and it ends up sounding out of context or out of character with everything else. So that's a very good point, and that applies over to a lot of other instruments. Snare drum, definitely on timpani, There are times where we need to just slow the roll speed down a little bit at the very end of the roll and release more naturally instead of speeding up. So great. Any other particularly tricky passages when you were learning the excerpt?
Probably the next thing I would say is starting at the second bar in the third line, where it goes to the 16 note dotted 16 note 32nd part. Just with stroke style and just the way that the piece is written, I try to do a little bit of a character change, because the beginning is real legato, almost haunting. This is how I interpret it. And then you get to that part, it's more like a dance. So I just kind of try to do a little bit of a style change there to just show that I was thinking about the actual notes and the rhythms. And
anytime you have a dotted note followed by a short note, this comes up all the time with dotted 8/16. It happens on timpani and almost every piece in the orchestral repertoire at some point or another. Tchaikovsky's music uses it a lot. It's good to give a little extra weight to the short note, because we're always going to hear where our ear knows where that downbeat is, but the short note tends to get lost. So to give it that character, we can just give a little extra weight to the shorter note, and it will actually make them sound closer to even. And even if that short note pops a little bit, it gives it a little that character that Kevin was talking about. Yeah, otherwise it can be a little bit lazy. So great. So, any last thoughts?
That's pretty much it. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. There's long phrases, try to be as precise as I can with rhythms and timing and everything, and just always think of where it's leading in the long phrase is really going to make it come across. I kind of did my own phrasing of how I interpreted it in the run-through at the beginning of the video, but that's open to interpretation.
Yeah, great. I would say I could anticipate students making a mistake with the roll speed on this and mallet choice. Make sure, I think your mallet choice, you have to have something that's going to sound really good up in the high register of the marimba, but at the same time we want that opening phrase to speak, with plenty of sound and duration. So you want something that's fairly warm. So I think paying close attention to a mallet choice, and also that translates to the second thing, which is the rolls in bars 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Those rolls, don't burn those rolls. I think we want the marimba to speak and breathe there. So I would imagine you want to roll as slowly as you can get away with. Would you agree with that?
That's the way I try to play it.
Yeah. Versus we don't want to hear the strokes of the mallets. We actually want to hear the bar hum as one long sound, which is impossible, but we can get close. So, and the mallet choice would definitely help that. So, best of luck to you guys out there practicing. Always feel free to send us an email and see what you can do. If we can help in any way. If you have questions about any of these etudes, we've posted the rest of ETSBOA and MTSBOA excerpts, and WTS are on the way shortly. So thanks a lot for watching, and we hope this helps.